Good morning, everybody. Um, Joe, I have just a few things to say real quick before you move on to our new subject matter, and I'm going to let you start that today or at your convenience. Um, Mostly, I completely agree that when it comes to comparing ourselves to superheroes, there are some major issues. Even with Alfred, there are not as simple of set of circumstances. Is to say that he is a great theological person to follow. I don't really want to get into all that. I don't know the character well enough. I'm not well versed in Batman. I'm not really that well versed in superheroes in general. Um, but I do want to say that I think it's important that what you say, that to realize that there are inherent issues with following this. What I will say that I disagree with you on, well, I don't think we really disagree, I just think that how we treat it is a little bit different, is the idea that because the entire narrative is an issue, thus the episodic nature of these characters is slightly not useful. I will agree that there's issues with considering a killer of any variety as a good ministry um, comparative. But whenever you move away from the idea that I'm serving the church, now I'm killing the church, as you say, to the idea that I am looking for what the answers are, and then I discover more information and I change what it is that I think the answers are, that to me is the basis of Christianity. It is our basic nature to continue to search, to continue to seek, to continue to discern, to be faithful in what we do. That is the essential tenet of our faith. That is the essential piece to being Christian, is that continual search for truth, because we can't be the superhero. We can't be God. We can't be Christ. We can't be these things. So we have to keep looking for what it is that is the answer. That what it is that God really is about. I don't think it's made perfectly clear. I think we get the big picture. God is love. But what does that mean when it comes to relating between these imperfect characters, these mortal versions, these small-time superheroes that we are when we're created in God's image? We're given great power as humans. We are made in God's image with God's abilities to create, to sustain, to nourish and care for this world. What do we do with that? How is that worked out? Do we do it like a hero, like a villain, like something in between, which I think is what most of us are? That's an important distinction to me. And it's an episodic nature of things. You kind of have no real beginning, no real end. It just kind of continues in this way of, I'm getting there, I'm getting there. Oh, let me refocus. Oh, I'm still getting there, but now the there looks slightly different. It's not all about the ends. It is about the means. It's about how we do it. It's about really why we do it, which is back to the ethics question, which is kind of where you're going next, I think. But I want to hear what you have to say on that before I address it too much. I also agree with you when it comes to the idea of meaning. The idea of meaning to me is very important. What we do, why we do it, is that essential piece of discernment. It's not really about the final answer. It's not really about what we believe. It's about what we do and why. Really about why. We do it because we feel it's our cause. We don't do to do. You're right. But it is the inherent search for meaning. It is, as they say in human communication theory, that Adam and Eve, whenever they take a bite of the apple, what they really realize is this separation, this idea of aloneness, this idea of individuality, this idea that they are somehow whole but not complete. That they need the relationships, that there is the ability to have the existence without a relationship with each other, with God, with the world. It is this anxiety that comes from being alone, this anxiety of loneliness that causes us to search out relationships in various varieties. And in searching these relationships, we often get caught up in just trying to make things work, trying to be happy. And it goes beyond happiness. It goes to a search for meaning. And I think that it really is all about that search for meaning. I don't think it's about the final meaning of any variety. It's about trying to find meaning. And as a Christian, I believe trying to find meaning means getting back to the idea that I am created in God's image for a relationship with God. A God who is so willing to be in a relationship with us that it's a self-sacrificing God who loves us just that much that to be in anything less than a relationship with us is not right, is painful, is something that can't exist. We are part of God because we have God's image within us. Thus, we must do that which God wants. We are free to do as God wills. And I think that's a very rough synopsis. I don't think it's deep enough. I think I've said some things I don't really completely agree with in how I've worded them. But I wanted to present the kind of the idea that I like the idea of what you want to say next as far as this ethics piece goes, because I do agree that it's about the meaning. It's about the why. And getting into a discussion of that, starting to talk about the idea of not just doing it because we've done it, not just doing it because it's good, but doing it because why it's good, why it's important, why we should, that why. I am currently sitting in a classroom in another city with a bunch of my youth who are here to do a mission project after we went to church camp, and they worked at VBS in between the two. And I feel what you're saying about the tired, and I feel what you're saying about the doing to just do. But I look at them right now, and I look at me right now, and I look at the realization that no matter how tired we look right now, that we are discovering more about who we are, who the world is, who God is, and what all that means, and how it connects, and why it connects. And I see the lights turning on to these passions and these wonderful things as these kids start to find meaning beyond themselves, which is what I believe God is all about, is a meaning beyond ourselves. And on that note, I'm going to use my normal sign-up, Joe. I don't know whether I should try to find a new one, but I love The Weekenders. It was a great cartoon. So later days.